All right, what's up, Turtle Riders? How are we all doing out there tonight? Good? Welcome. Oops, wrong one there. Let's do that one. All right, guys, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. I'm going to go ahead right now and share this link. Give me one sec over on the Twitter account.
Welcome to the show.
If you're not on Twitter,
I'm gonna go
get on there. If you are on there, give me a follow at Real Uncle TB. That's at Real Uncle TB on Twitter. We are live. We're going to expose some douchebags tonight, baby. Okay, there we go. So I've also shared it on the Clarence Woods Emerson page, which you should be following by now, as well as the Turtleboy Sports Forever page, which I don't know. It must be hiding that freaking that bastard, because that page just does not grow, man. It's fucking depressing. Even though Turtleboy's like on fire, the blog's never been shared or read more. It's like, but that page just goes, it's been stuck at like 27,000 forever. So whatever, give it a like if you haven't. They're not going to silence us ever, no matter what. We don't need Facebook, but whatever. We'll use them while they still exist, because we got a lot of good stuff to talk about tonight. So, all right. So if you guys want to go ahead and do me a favor and share that up for me, let people know where we're at, because we're going to be discussing a lot of important things today. So I'm also going to go ahead right now and share the dono button, if you guys would be so inclined. There it is right there. There's the donation button. If you guys feel like donating, we are a Turtle Rider funded network at this point. We're no longer dependent on any sort of advertisers, which is, I never thought I'd see this day, but it is the day that we're living in which people like myself who want to express the opinions that you're about to hear tonight, you can't express these opinions anymore. If you support the police, if you think that Black Lives Matter is kind of a fraud organization, it's completely full of shit. If you say these things out loud, man, you get in trouble, man. So if you have advertisers, then they get in trouble. They come after them. And I can't do that. I cannot silence myself to please advertisers. I can't do it. I can't play babysitting with them. I can't make sure that nobody's, hurting their feelings or coming after them. I don't have time for it. Too busy breaking stories over here and breaking news. So if you guys feel like donating, this is what you're contributing to the ongoing existence of the show. It's actually worked out great. To be perfectly honest with you, we are financially, on our feet for the first time in a long time. I feel confident going forward, just because every single day I got messages from people. Not all people donate, and those who don't send me messages to keep going, and it really does keep me going. People who donate often say, like, I'm sending this because of this blog, or because of the Monica Candy Grant blog, or the Kylie Kirkpatrick blog, or whatever, because they can't get it anywhere else. And I really, really, really appreciate that when you do that, because you guys really keep this puppy going. If you do give a dono, I'm going to read whatever comment you put out loud on the show. All right, so there it is. Okie dokie dokie. So first thing I want to start off with today is general lawlessness and disorder in this country. If you guys watched on television today, what happened in Washington, D.C.? Attorney General Bill Barr, who is hilarious, went down to the House of Representatives today voluntarily to answer some questions about what's going on in Portland. If you guys haven't seen what's going on in Portland, let's see what's going on in Portland, shall we? Basically, there's a federal courthouse down there that the Antifa owns the city of Portland. And if you go to Andy No's Twitter, Andy No is the guy that covers Antifa better than anybody else. They hate Andy No so much. Okay. He documents this pretty well. Just basically people throwing bombs at federal courthouse. Oh, there it is. Some bombs.
I don't know what that was.
Okay, dokie. Just beating the shit out of people. There's like every day more and more Antifas are they're burning trucks on fire, like Bristol Blarney, doing whatever the fuck they want to do down there. It's genuine chaos, pure chaos. They've taken over the city, and the gutless mayor, who of course is a Democrat, is just like, fuck it. Let them do whatever they want. Because he realizes that this is an important part of his constituency. And he does not want, he's not going to have his own police officers stop them. So Donald Trump decided to, do something about it, because Portland and Seattle have not seceded from the Union. They've not left. In Little Rock, Arkansas in 1957, the school, Little Rock Central High School, was to be integrated for the first time. And this did not please people in Arkansas for obvious reasons. It's a southern state. So 9 black kids wanted to enroll at that school because it was a much better school than the school that the black kids went to, much better resources, etc. And the governor, Orville Faubus, decided he wasn't going to try to, enforce law and order there. If the mob wanted to prevent the black kids from getting into school, that was going to happen. President Eisenhower, in his infinite wisdom, said, no, Arkansas has not seceded from the Union. I am going to federalize the National Guard and send them in there and make sure that those 9 kids get an education every day and that they are protected and safe. And they did that. When states cannot control their mobs or show a general unwillingness to, like Arkansas did in 1957, or like Seattle and Portland and Washington and Oregon, right, are doing today. They're not willing to put down the mob. So these have turned into riots every single night for over 2 months straight now. This is no longer about George Floyd. It was never really about George Floyd. Hate to break it to you. But for about 2 months straight now, they've been going down there and just causing chaos every single night. There are fences surrounding the whole area over there. And basically they try to, every night the federal marshals or whatever, the army, the guardsmen, they're barricaded inside the courthouse. And their job is to make sure this puppy doesn't get burnt down. That's their only job. So once in a while, they have to go outside. They have to use tear gas. And Democrats freaking hate tear gas now for some reason, because it's a chemical weapon or some shit. I don't know what they would like to do to get rid of these mobs, but whatever. Now, Jerry Nadler, you guys know fat Jerry Nadler? This guy, oh my God, this guy's a fucking joke. Jerry, you got to hear this audio. Jerry Nadler myth about Antifa. This is real.
Violence across the whole country. Do you disavow the violence from Antifa that's happening in Portland right now?
That's a myth that's being spread only in Washington, D.C.
It is true. There's violence across the whole country. Do you disavow the violence from Antifa that's happening in Portland right now?
That's a myth.
A myth.
It's being spread only in Washington, D.C.
About Antifa in Portland?
Yes.
Sure,
this is the definition of gaslighting, guys. They're literally telling you that what you're seeing in all these videos, Antifa taking over the streets, trying to burn down courthouses, just a fucking myth. It's not real. Get out of here. This is literally the definition of what gaslighting is. Telling you that what you're seeing is not actually what you're seeing. It's a myth. Clearly, it's not a myth. Russian collusion was a myth that he took very seriously and voted to impeach the president and tried to remove him from office over. But that's actually happening. I could show you 1,000,001 videos of that. I have friends that are serving in the Guard there. It's like very fucking real. Very real. We talked about one of my buddies last week, right? The ghetto scholar. They're trying to dox him. They're putting his picture everywhere. They want to know who he is. This is real. These people do not come in peace. They don't give a shit about George Floyd. They're there to burn shit. And the mayor, Ted Wheeler, and the governor of Oregon are unwilling to do anything. Unwilling to do anything. So Donald Trump decides he has to do something. He has to restore law and order. So he has sent the National Guard into these cities. And that's a good thing. He should be roundly applauded for that. Instead, his attorney general, William Barr, gets called to Washington, right? And Billy Barr now has to, excuse me, let me sign out of Facebook. I hate seeing when people message and I get these freaking notifications. All right, logging out. Okay, so we won't get any more of those. Anyway, Bill Barr goes down there to Washington today, and he was freaking hilarious. Did you guys watch this? Did you watch some of this shit? And I've never seen just straight up rudeness more to, somebody who's supposed to be highly respected, the Attorney General of the United States today, than I did with these people. So let's check this out. Like Bill Barr claiming my time. I'll go to claiming my time. This is the new line that they're all using there. Reclaiming my time. Okay. Check this out.
Reclaiming my time, Mr. General.
So he's there under the pretext of, they're going to ask questions. They're going to ask Billy Barr questions. Well, let's see what happens.
My time is limited. I have time.
So what
Reclaiming my time.
Yeah, I'm answering your question.
So you gotta let him answer.
Reclaiming my time. Reclaiming my time, sir. Reclaiming my time. And I know you don't want to answer.
I'm not saying that.
I reclaim my time.
Reclaiming my time.
Reclaiming my time, Mr. Attorney General. Reclaiming my time.
Reclaiming my time. Reclaiming my time, Mr. Attorney. Reclaiming my time. Reclaiming my time, Mr. Barr.
Okay, reclaiming my time. Excuse me, the time is mine.
I'm starting to lose my temper. Excuse me, Mr. Barr, this is my time and I control it.
Reclaim my time, sir.
I think in another one I voted
Reclaiming
by
my
mail.
time. Okay, reclaiming my time.
Publication.
Reclaiming my time, sir.
I will get to
Quibbling
that.
over-
Reclaiming my time. You answered the question.
That's what
Mr. Attorney General,
I think
reclaiming
that's
my
what I
time.
was talking
Reclaiming my
Reclaiming
time.
my time.
I've waited a long time for you to come here. The time is mine. The time is mine.
Substances.
Attorney General, reclaiming my time.
This is not
Reclaiming
working?
my
Oh,
time,
crap.
sir.
Out of
I'm
rule.
I just realized I don't have the
reclaiming
fucking
VHS.
right video
reclaiming my
on, huh?
time. I'm surprised at your lack of respect for a member of Congress.
I had the wrong fucking video up, didn't I? I had the wrong thing up. Anyway, you get the point. That's all they did. Reclaiming my time, reclaiming my time, reclaiming my time. And Bill Barr, basically what happened is they went down there, they asked them questions about, like, why are you using tear gas? One of the worst ones was this guy from Rhode Island, David Cicilline, I think his name is. Yeah, David Cicilline. You got to see this. For any Rhode Island turtle writers out there, you guys know what a douchebag this guy is. How do you spell it? Cicilline? Is that how you spell it? Okay, check this out.
Sir, for the president to solicit or accept foreign assistance.
Wrong one. Wrong. Basically, they ask him a bunch of times, is this why is the president using tear gas on these peaceful protesters? They keep calling them peaceful protesters, like with a straight face. And then they show videos of them singing and dancing and singing Kumbaya and shit, but they don't show the riot parts. Nobody cares about the singing. That's fine. We're not there for the singing. They're not tear gassing singers. They're tear gassing people who are trying to burn down a federal courthouse. Because this is what people have to accept. Okay. All you moderates out there, all you fence sitters, stuff like that. The Democratic Party, you have to face facts, is the pro-Antifa, like pro-anarchy party. They hate Donald Trump that much that they are willing to do this, that they're willing to support these people and just lie to your face and tell you that it's not happening. This is what we're dealing with. So that's that. Now let's talk about on a local level. Let me pull this one up. All right. Is this it? Did that come up? Okay. So let's make this bigger. There. Okay. So on a local level, over the weekend, on Friday night, the State House of Representatives voted to 9366 to pass what's called a police reform bill. They're calling it a police reform bill to help black people or whatever. Obviously, it's not really helping them. It's just complete bullshit. And all of this is just a reaction to the killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis, something Massachusetts police officers should not be responsible for because they have not committed any crimes. This is a rogue cop in Minneapolis who did something bad, who broke the law, and is paying the price for it. That is not indicative of the cops in Shrewsbury or wherever, any of the other 351 towns in this state, that they're doing something wrong and that they're in need of reform, because they're not. And Cindy Chesna put this better than anyone the other day. And I'm so happy she spoke out. What a brave, strong woman she is. Her husband, Michael, was killed in the line of duty 2 years ago in Weymouth, right around this time, by a quote-unquote unarmed man, person of color, who should have been in jail to begin with because he was a career criminal. And he threw a rock at Michael Chesna's head and knocked him out. And he stole his gun, shot him with it, and went on to murder Vera Adams, a 77-year-old woman, in her home while he was fleeing. Terrible. And what was done, as keep in mind, that was the third police officer who was killed over a 2-year period in this state. 3 months prior to that, Sean Gannon was murdered in Yarmouth by a guy who had 125 priors, 125, all of them violent. 2 years before that, Ronald Tarantino was killed in Auburn doing what was supposed to be a routine traffic stop, except Jorge Zambrano had no license. Car wasn't registered to him that he was driving, and he was on probation and didn't feel like going back to jail. So he shot Ron Tarantino. And all three of their killers, 125, Weymouth, and Zambrano, they all should have been behind bars. If our state legislators actually gave a shit about anybody, they would have been immediately pushing for criminal justice reform, and not the kind of criminal justice reform that they like to talk about. The criminal justice reform they like to talk about is Barstool Sports criminal justice reform. That is raising money for or getting rid of bail, keeping douchebags out of jail, shitting on police officers. No, we need real criminal justice reform. And that is stricter sentences, less bail, stop letting assholes back out onto the street that are clearly dangerous. No more, 15th chances. That shit needs to end. There are so many ways you could do that. You could have oversight of judges too. We have a governor's council, 8 members on it. 7 of them are Democrats. And they're the ones who appoint and can remove judges. If they don't act, the state legislature can force them to act, but they don't. And some of these judges who let these people out should be held accountable. They should. But they're not. But they could. We could pass legislation to make sure that happens. But they don't. And they did nothing. So they let 3 police officers, the murders of 3 police officers over a 2-year period of time, go unpunished. Keep in mind, just what? I think it was 2 weeks after Michael Chesna was killed. 2 more cops in Falmouth were shot. Luckily, they both survived, but we could add 5. So nothing was done about that. But the second one black guy in Minnesota gets killed by a rogue cop, then we act. Then we act. And that was the essence of Cindy Chesna's beautifully written Facebook post. Couldn't have said it better myself. And it meant so much coming from her, because I can yammer on about this, but I haven't lost a loved one, right? I haven't had a police officer, family member get killed in the line of duty. So, my perspective is obviously different from hers. To her, this was personal. Because more than anything, you could just tell from the tone of her letter, right, that it was hurting her. All this nonsense, like her kids are being raised. That was one of the most powerful parts about that letter, was when she's like, my kids are being brought up in an environment where police are the bad guys and they're vilified. My husband is not a bad guy. My husband was a hero, and he was. And at his ceremony in Weymouth at the high school there, Michael Chesna's parents were there. His widow was there. And, all these big shots are on the stage. 2 of them, one of them was State Senator Patrick O'Connor in the background. The other was State Representative Ron Mariano, both of who represent Weymouth. O'Connor, I guess, voted present, I want to say, people told me, for the first version of the bill in the Senate. So he could have voted against the bill. He chose not to. Mariano's in the State House of Representatives. He voted for it. And it passed 99-66. So what we're here to do tonight is expose some of these people, because we are living in a democracy. And ultimately, we are responsible for this. And all my bitching and whining and your bitching and whining is worthless if you don't vote and if you don't run for office. And so I hope I inspire somebody tonight to do that, to get out to the polls and vote. Because all the people who voted yes for this should pay dearly. They should pay dearly. You can see the entire list there. I know it's kind of small. There's 200 people in maybe a little less than 200 people. No, 160, I want to say, in the State House of Representatives. So we're not going to go over all of them. It's kind of a waste of time. And some of them I'm not even going to bother with. Like, for instance, Liz Miranda's from Boston. She's the worst social justice warrior in the world. But she's from a district that is so blue that you could not possibly ever elect a decent person out of it. You're going to get a ratchet no matter what in her district. So you're stuck with her. So I'm not going to waste my time going after the Liz Mirandas of the world. Why? Because it's in vain. They're there. Get used to them. However, I've identified about 20 to 25 vulnerable seats here that we can realistically flip. And I want to say it looks like around 35 or 34 representatives are Republican. Every single one of them voted no. So good for them. That is the difference right now between the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. Is Republicans support the police. They do not blame all the police for the crimes of Derek Chauvin. They don't do that. Democrats, by and large, do. Now, not all of them. Some of them, plenty of them voted no. Because I want to say probably around 30 voted no. Right? I mean, there's some good ones in here. Colleen Jerry over in Drake. She's a great representative. She's a Democrat. She voted no. There's a state representative named Kearney. He's a Democrat. Didn't know that. He voted no. He's obviously a good guy, or her, whatever. But a lot of them are not. So let's look at the bill first of all. So this is kind of like a breakdown of the way that you are going to be affected by this, or the way we all are. Officers will no longer be able to physically detain or frisk suspects based on reasonable suspicion, often done with public safety at the forefront. So the new standard forbids the many instances when reasonable force is permitted to detain a suspect for investigation and frisk them. Police know this stuff better than us. No police were consulted on this bill. No police. The unions, the police unions, which used to have power in the state, are limp dick. They've suddenly realized that all these politicians who they've donated money to over the years have completely sold them out for Black Lives Matter. And I hope they don't forget that. I hope this brings a new voting bloc to the Republican Party. Organized labor. They're spitting in the face of organized labor. They want to bust up. There's nothing the Democrats want to do right now than bust up labor unions. So don't forget that, labor unions. They're no longer on your side. The second that your union becomes antithetical to Black Lives Matter or becomes pitted against them somehow, they will sell you down the river too. You mean nothing to them. You're a check in the mail. That's all you are. So that's one thing they can't do. Officers also can no longer use protective custody. So if you're drunk, unfortunately, I know people that have been PC'd before. It's kind of funny when you get PC'd because you don't get arrested. It's basically they throw you in the drunk tank. That's gone. You can't do that anymore for some reason. I don't know what the rationale behind that is, but that's gone. Another thing. Officers are very limited in their ability to manage dangerous mental health encounters. The new law does not authorize the use of force for this purpose. Responding officers cannot resort to force in cases where a person might be suicidal or dangerous because of his or her mental condition. So if a suicidal, like that incident in Enfield, remember we did a blog on this a month ago. Suicidal person attacks a police officer. According to this new law, cops can't even hit back. He's got to run away. This is what we're doing. Insane. Next one. Using force to prevent a crime in progress will no longer be an option. The definition of imminent harm in both versions of the bill, absent an arrest or escape, that officers face a situation in which there is a risk of serious physical injury or death. This means that a risk of non-deadly physical force would no longer justify any police force. Any. So if the officer's life is, the risk to the officer's life is quote unquote not non-deadly, just punching in the face or something like that, they are now forbidden to use any force in return. So the predicted result of this is that officers who have to forcefully intervene to prevent an assault and battery or even an indecent assault and battery could be disciplined, decertified, and even sued on the basis because, they got rid of qualified immunity too. So there's that. Next one, arrests will likely increase because of an inflexible standard that will limit intervention and mitigation steps. Since no use of force will be permitted to simply stop a crime from occurring unless an arrest is made, the new statute ironically will force officers to make more arrests, which is exactly what this is supposed to prevent. So, according to their theory here, under the new proposed law, officers will have to be instructed that any use of force, absent a risk of serious injury or death, is forbidden unless they make an arrest. So, you do the math here. Instead of using force, they're just going to arrest you. Duh. So, that's that. Let's go on to the next page here. It is unrealistic and unwise to condition all use of force on de-escalation. This is one of their favorite words, de-escalation. We need to de-escalate. I got news for you people. The cops have been trying to de-escalate for years now. They do that like every time they go out. Every time they try to de-escalate the situation. But sometimes it doesn't work out. So that's another thing they want to get rid of. Then last thing here, an overly technical definition of acceptable force is unfair to the public who rely on officers to intervene without hesitation. In both bills, decertification could be based solely on violation of this new force standard. So now cops are going to have to get certified. And who's going to be on these boards to certify them? There will be no cops on the boards. So people who know nothing about law enforcement. I don't know the first fucking thing, guys, about law enforcement. I don't know it. I'm sure whatever they're doing, all of the techniques that they learned to take, detain suspects and stuff like that is not for shits and giggles. It is for a freaking reason. I was a teacher for a long time, and there was nothing that I hated more than when people who had never taught a day in their life, which is everybody who runs the public schools, decided that they knew how to teach kids more effectively and that they would tell you how to do your job and stuff like that, but they'd never actually been in a classroom. Call me crazy. I believe I don't tell firefighters how to put out fires. I don't do that. I don't tell cops how to make arrests. I don't tell lawyers how to prepare freaking motions, right? I don't tell doctors how to do surgery. But now we're going to have whole boards of people to certify police officers who know nothing about it. Some cop gets a bullshit complaint in his file over, use of force or whatever. Next thing you know, he's out of a job because of that. Or he could face criminal prosecution. So, anyway, that's that. Let's look at some of the people that voted yes on this one that I think are somewhat vulnerable, some more than others. Okay, so let's go through some of these people. So first up, we have Patricia Haddad. So I don't know if we have turtle riders from Somerset, Dighton, or Swansea in here, down in the South Coast. She's been unopposed since 2008 when she first became a state representative. Unopposed. However, those three towns, Somerset, Dighton, and Swansea, some of those are Trump towns. Some of those are red towns. Yet they've had this Democrat who voted for this bill, who's just, nobody runs against her. Nobody runs against her. Why is that? Because the Republican Party in the state is a fucking joke. I should be running the Republican Party. Why has nobody from the Mass GOP contacted me about doing fucking work for them? You tell me that. Tell me a conservative in this state who has bigger platform and a bigger voice than I do. Don't tell me Howie Carr or Jeff Kuhn or any of that shit. I have a much bigger reach than them. I've surpassed them as far as viewership. They contact me for shit now to get stories out that they can't even talk about. They're smart. They get that. But where is the Mass GOP? Why do they not have a handpicked candidate in one of these three towns to run against this woman? I'm telling you, if you want to run, just fucking run. I don't care who you are. If you're running against anybody I'm talking about tonight, I'm going to use my platform to endorse the shit out of you. It's too late to get the signatures now. However, there's a primary election on September 1st. And if you pick the Republican ballot, all you need is 150 write-in votes in any district, and you get on the ballot for the primary election in November. That's all you got to do. 150. So if you want to run for office, let me know. I'll spread the word in one of these towns. Somebody take this lady on. Why is she running unopposed? Then you got this dude, Joseph Wagner from Chicopee. He has not been opposed. Chicopee is somewhat of a more, they vote Democrat, but it's not by as much. It's a blue-collar city. He has not been opposed since getting on 12 years ago. And in 2014, he got $500 from the state police union. How about that? How about that? How about unions stop giving money to Democrats? How about that? So there he is right there. If you live in Chicopee, you want to run against him, let me know. He's not used to it. He wouldn't know what to do. Next up to that, we got James Arciero, who represents the communities of Chelmsford, Littleton, and Westford. He's been there since 2008. He gets elected. He's hardly ever challenged, but the closest anyone's ever come is 64-36 against him. So that would be more of an uphill one, but let's give it a shot. Linda Dean Campbell represents Haverhill and Methuen. She's had no Republican challenger since 2010, but yet she only won with 58% of the vote. But nobody wants to run against her. Why is that? I mean, these smaller cities like Methuen and Haverhill aren't nearly as bad as places like Cambridge and stuff like that. Like, you can win here as a moderate Republican or whatever. You can win. Just run. Be normal. Look at this lady. You can beat her. Then we have this douchebag, Josh Cutler. This guy is extremely vulnerable. I identified him as one of the more vulnerable people on my list. Josh Cutler represents the towns of Duxbury, Hanson, and Pembroke. I know we have turtle riders from those towns. I hear from them all the time. Those three towns: Pembroke, Duxbury, Hanson. He is routinely challenged. Nobody ever runs against him. But he's won with as little as 53%. 53%. When Republicans win with 53%, the Democrats aren't so kind to not run anyone against them in the next election. If you live in Duxbury, Hanson, or Pembroke, start a sticker campaign. I got your back. Let's get rid of Josh Cutler, this douchebag. Then you got this asshole, another douchebag, Michael Day, who represents the communities of Stoneham and Winchester, home of Kirk, Seamus Minihane. He gets challenged by the same woman who I've met a couple times. I think she's on the Board of Selectmen in Stoneham. Every 2 years. His margin of victory has been between 51 and 58%, but it is increasing. So perhaps we need a new candidate in those towns to challenge this guy. Somebody's got to take him out. I mean, you're voting for this bill. You got to go. You can't be a moderate Democrat and be like, yeah, well, I'm a Democrat, but I'm moderate. Just, fuck the police. Besides that, I mean, that's what you're saying when you vote for this bill. You're saying, fuck the police. That's it. Next up, person that's got to go. This one especially really has to go. Let me tell you. Carol Doherty, who represents Taunton and parts of Easton. This seat was held for years by Shauna O'Connell, who is a Republican. But Shauna recently got elected mayor of Taunton. So the seat was put up for a special election in June. And she was running against a 28-year-old woman, first time in politics, named Kelly Dooner. She beat her 57-43 because she was on the school committee. I don't know if it was in Easton or Taunton. But 57-43. The same woman is running against her. Kelly Dooner is running against her. I sent Kelly a Facebook message tonight. I'd love to have her on the show. But she'll be running against her again in November. So if you live in Taunton or Easton, vote for Kelly Dooner. That's how you can fight back against these people. This woman needs to pay the price for what she did. She just got there. She's been there for a freaking month. This is like her first significant vote, and she blew it. So vote for my girl Kelly there. Oh, and by the way, here's Carol Doherty at a Back the Blue rally today. Completely full of shit. This lady. Get rid of her if you live in Taunton or Easton. I know we got a lot of Taunton turtle riders out there. Get rid of her. Then we got Michelle Dubois. Oh, for fuck's sake. We all know about her by now. One of my nemesises. This is the same woman who I don't even know where to start. First came on our radar in 2017 when she alerted the nice drug dealing communities in Brock. She represents like Southern Brockton, and the two Bridgewaters, East and West Bridgewater. So she puts a sound out, and obviously the liberal part of her base then is going to be in Brockton, and East and West Bridgewater are going to be the more conservative part of her base because this district's actually wide open. And she put a sound out 2 years ago, let drug dealers in Brockton know ICE is coming. Remember that? ICE, baby? Yeah. ICE is coming for you. Hide the stash. Move it to a different house. Then she complained that the Thomas Hooker entrance was offensive to her as a woman. The Thomas Hooker entrance to the State House, because hooker is an offensive word. Literally a child says something like that. She's a freaking joke. She's an absolute freaking joke. And my guy, John Cruz, has run against her. He's the brother of Tim Cruz, who is the district attorney in Plymouth County. And John Cruz ran against her in 2018 as a sticker campaign. In 2016, he got 50. She got 56% this last election and 51 before that. It's really not that much, guys. 51. You put a solid candidate against this woman, she falls. Now, she does have a Democratic challenger this time who I'd like to get on the show. He's a young guy, Jack Lally. I don't know how he would vote on this police bill, but I like to pick his mind about it. I would support any Democrat, again, that would be against this bill. I want to know where you stand on this bill, period. So let's get rid of her. God, that would be fucking great to get rid of her. She's the absolute worst. Then you got this chick, Carola Dykema, who represents Holliston, Hopkinton, Southborough, and Westborough. I assume Southborough is probably the most liberal of those communities, but she, as you can see, the Black Lives Matter, whatever filter there, so you know what she's all about. She's won with between 52 and 61% of the vote. So we can get rid of her too. So if you live in any of those towns, those are nice towns. If you're already taking out the papers, let me know. I'll endorse you. If you're not, run a sticker campaign. I'll endorse you too. And then you can get on the ballot in November. Then you got this chick with the hyphenated last name, Tricia Farley Bouvier. She represents Pittsfield. I don't know if we have a lot of turtle riders in Pittsfield, because Pittsfield's in the ass crack of nowhere. It's on the New York border. It's like 2 miles from where I live, and I'm in Central Mass. But Pittsfield is another one of those mid-sized cities like Chicopee or Haverhill that's like liberal, but not that liberal. You know what I mean? And believe it or not, she's been there since like 2010. She's never had an opponent. No one's ever run against her. I think if somebody steps up to run, she's vulnerable. She is. Then we got this guy, Ken Gordon, represents Burlington, Wilmington, and Bedford. He was unopposed the last election, but he's been challenged several times, and he's won with between 52 and 58% of the vote. Here he is proudly bragging on Facebook. Last night, after 3 days of debate, and after listening to the priorities of the Black and Latino caucus, I proudly joined my colleagues in passing a bill. Notice that he did not get any insight from the police departments there. So he goes on to say, but he did the Black and Latino caucus for whatever reason, even though they don't represent all Black and Latino people. Not all Black and Latino people are distrustful of the police. They're not. The loudest ones are. The people who have taken control are. But he goes on to say, I'm proud of our police in Bedford, Burlington, and Wilmington, and I support them. No, you don't. You don't. Enough of that fucking bullshit. If you voted for this bill, you don't support them, period. You don't get to say that anymore. The Black and Latino residents of our community deserve our support as well. First of all, you represent Burlington, Wilmington, and Bedford. You have no Black or Latino constituents, you hack. And secondly, to assume that if you're Latino, you automatically distrust the police or expect to break the law and have run-ins with the police is incredibly racist. Get rid of this racist piece of shit. If you live in those towns, step up and run for office. I got your back. Here's another one, Danielle Gregoire, who also represents parts of Westborough, Northborough, and Marlborough. She's won with between 50 and 63% of the vote. 63 was the most recent one, though. She might be one of the harder ones to get rid of, but you never know. Give it a shot. This one's one of the worst. One of the worst. Natalie Higgins is a radical SJW leftist, wants to defund the police. Like some of these people, like Ken Gordon, will pretend to be moderates and stuff like that. Not this one. This one is a full-fledged fuck the police, defund the police. She voted to give herself a raise months after getting the fucking job, doubled her own salary. And Natalie Higgins has she represented Leominster. Just the whole city of Leominster is one district. Yeah, each district in the state is between around 40,000 people in our state represented district, which is the population of Leominster. Thus, they get their own district. So Leominster is not a uber liberal city. It's not. It's another one of those like cross hybrid between urban and rural city, where the people are good people. They're regular folk. They're not wealthy, but they're not that poor. And they're decent folk. And their mayor there, Dean Mazzarella, he's a Democrat, but he's not like a nut job. He would probably not vote for this bill if he was in office, if he was a state representative. So if I don't know if she's got an opponent this time, she should. Whoever it is, I'm endorsing. Let me know. I'll have them on. But once again, this is an open invitation to anyone running against any of these assholes. If you live in Leominster, take out papers. I apologize. You can't take out papers. It's too late for that. If you live in Leominster, start a sticker campaign. Start a write-in campaign. All you need is 150 votes. I can get 150 people in Leominster to show up and cast votes for you and write your name in. No problem on September 1st. Not a problem. Leominster's my back door, man. That's my Walmart right there. I go to Leominster all the time. Trust me. Next up, this douchebag. Oh, God, he shouldn't even have the seat. David LaBeouf. He represents my old district before I moved to Holden. He represents the Webster Square part of Worcester and the entire town of Leicester. The only reason he has this seat is because Kate Campanelli fell in love. That's the bottom line. Unfortunately, Kate Campanelli fell in love. Kate Campanelli, I love her. She's my girl. She's a Republican. She held that seat from 2014 to 2018, right? And she won it pretty convincingly. But then she started dating Peter Durant, who is a Republican state representative from Spencer. And they fell in love. And they moved in. But they didn't move into her place. They moved into his. So she moved. She couldn't live there anymore. She could no longer run. So we lost the seat on account of Kate Campanelli falling in love. Because the guy that ran against him, David LaBeouf, said a lot of stupid shit. He's a Worcester firefighter, actually. Said a lot of like crazy shit that turned people off from him. It was also an anti-Trump election in 2018. So now we have this guy. He's not a moderate. He is a fucking radical. He hates Turtleboy. He like brags about like, oh, Turtleboy used to live in my district. He's real asshole. Look at this tool bag. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. I'm sure somebody must be running in Leicester. Whoever lives in Leicester controls that district. That is a Leicester district. Trust me. Kate Campanelli lived in like Leicester is going to have bigger voter turnout than Worcester. Because Worcester people are ratchets and they don't vote. Period. I know there's a fact. There's a reason Kate won. So get out there and vote. Get rid of this douchebag. Next up on the list to get rid of. John Mahoney. I can't believe this fucking asshole. I fucking hate him so much. Former owner of Mahoney's Barr. Great place to go back in the day if you were underage and you wanted to have some chick, blow a line of coke off of your schlong. Yeah, that was Mahoney's. That was the kind of crowd that he wanted in his bar. Nobody in Mahoney's was 21. Nobody. And he knew it. For years this was going on. It's fucking shade ball. He ran for city council, lost. Then he ran, there was a state rep seat open. I think Bob Spillane wasn't running, so he decided to run for it. And he got it. He represents only Worcester. He represents the west side of Worcester, which is the highest voter turnout and the nicest part of Worcester. It's like the suburbs when you're in the west side of Worcester. And he's never been challenged. Never been challenged. Nobody's ever run against him since he got on there in 2010. Can you believe that? I went on his OCPF records. Karen Polito has donated thousands, and Karen Polito's a Republican. This guy's a Democrat. She's donated thousands of dollars to his campaign. Fuck Karen Polito too while we're at it. She's fucking awful. Absolutely awful, that woman. Gutless coward. That's the Republican Party in this state. Get rid of him. Run a sticker campaign against John Mahoney. Let's get rid of this douchebag. Then you got this guy, Paul McMurtry, who represents Dedham, Walpole, and Westwood. Those are a little bit more liberal towns, getting closer to Boston there. He's only been challenged once, and he won with 67%. So getting him out would be a long shot, but give it a shot if you live in those towns. Next up, another long shot. Christina Minicucci also represents parts of Haverhill, Methuen, and North Andover, so a little south of the district when we were just in. She's won with between 64 and 66%. But again, give it a shot. Never hurts to try. Brian Murray, who I'm hot and cold on sometimes. He said he was going to help me out with the DASA thing. Didn't really do that. He represents Milford, Hopedale, Mendon, and Medway. The culture that has been created by his party led to that subway incident. Let's be honest. And he barely, these are blue collar towns. Hopedale is a little bit more liberal, but certainly Mendon and Milford are more, a little bit more blue collar, laid back towns, working class people, my kind of people. And he's won with between 55 and 56%. That is not insurmountable. If you live in Milford, if you live in Hopedale, Medway, or Mendon, take out papers. What do you have to lose? Not papers, but let me know. Start a sticker campaign. Start a writing campaign. I got your back. Let's get rid of Brian Murray. Next up, this is the most unforgivable one for me. Unforgivable. And I posted this on Facebook. This guy right here in the middle is Harold Naughton from Clinton, an alleged moderate Democrat who has actually a lot of pull. He's on some committees in the State House. And here he is in this picture. This is Richard Grimes, the former police chief of Weymouth. This is Andrew Sluckus, the police chief from Auburn. And this is Frank Frederickson, the police chief from Yarmouth. I know this guy is, I'm going to say his last name wrong. He's the head of all police chiefs in the state from Dudley, my old school where I used to teach. Good guy. And all of these guys, why are they posing with him? Well, because these three lost officers in the line of duty. And he's posing with them because he allegedly supports police officers. Police unions have given this guy a lot of money over the years. Right? He's pretending to care about them, saying he has their back. He voted yes. Unforgivable. This is the ultimate betrayal. What a feckless coward he is. Harold Naughton represents Clinton, Berlin, Boylston. No one lives in those towns, but Lancaster, Northborough, and parts of Sterling. If you live in any of those towns and Harold Naughton represents you, vote for. I heard he's not running this year. I have not confirmed that. But whoever it is, vote Republican, baby. You do not. Democrats should be punished for their. You can't vote for them. They're the party of Antifa now. They're the party of what riots? That should be their official slogan. Is what riots? Huh? Another one. This is Tram Nguyen, who beat Jim Lyons, who's the chairman of the Republican Party in the state, who has never contacted me, by the way. You would think that, like, dude, I have a bigger voice than anybody. Anybody. We should be talking, buddy. I could have been promoting you last election. I could have helped you win this. But I didn't hear from you. So there you are. Now you're gone. You lost. You lost to this chick. She represents Andover, Boxford, North Andover, and Tewksbury. She's got to go. She's brand new. It's like the first thing she does. She's a radical social justice warrior. If you live in any of those towns, I know we got a lot of turtle riders in Andover. North Andover, you guys all came through. You got rid of Luke Noble. Now get rid of her too. Tewksbury, Boxford. Tewksbury is a more conservative town. Get rid of him. Then you got this guy, Jim O'Day, the northeast side of Worcester and West Boylston. West Boylston is a somewhat conservative town too. Remember, they had that police chief there that was against the lockdown, and I wrote about him. He's been unchallenged since 2012. Just look at this guy. What a douchebag. The police unions reached out to him. He said, "There's nothing I can do for you." And that was the end of that. This is Jeff Roy, who represents Franklin and Medway. If you live in either of those towns, he's only won with 54 and 58% of the vote. He can be beaten. Start a sticker campaign. I'll promote you September 1st, 150 people. That's all we need. We'll get you on the ballot for November, and you take this douchebag down. It's not brain surgery. He doesn't win by much. And we frame it as this guy hates police. He disrespects police officers. And you just show the videos of what's going on in Portland and stuff like that. That's coming to Massachusetts, baby. That is the trend that we're going in right now. We are going in a direction of Seattle and Portland. The most vulnerable of all of them is this guy, though. This wannabe bootleg Dukakis, Ted Speliotis, who represents Danvers, Patsa Peabody, and Middleton. I know we have Turtle Riders in those areas. The last 3 elections, he's won by 51, 51, and 52%. That's as close as you can get. And that's without whoever the hell he ran against using the Turtleboy platform to help them get over the top. Because I guarantee if any of those people running against him had contacted me, they'd be sitting in that seat right now. You're fucking stupid. You can pretend like I don't have influence. You can pretend like Turtleboy doesn't matter. Or you can embrace that shit like Rayla Campbell has done, like Tracy Lavorne has done, okay, like countless other people have done in the past. I mean, I almost got Mike fucking Gaffney, who is a lunatic, elected mayor of the second largest city of New England. Michael Gaffney, trust me, I can help you. If you want to pretend that I don't matter or that like I'm this dirty secret that, you know, you can't be associated with, and you're a fucking idiot and you should fire whoever's running your campaign. And finally, this douchebag, Ron Mariano, who represents a gerrymandered district. This is his district. Look at this thing. It's shaped like Cape Cod. Look at that. This is Weymouth, this part here. This is Holbrook. And why does it go up here? Oh, because it's Quincy. Because that's where the liberal votes are going to come from. The city, Quincy. Because Weymouth is too conservative, too blue collar. Same with Holbrook. You might get a Republican in there. So they need to gerrymander it. And this is where he lives. When you look at this guy, he's the ultimate, like, he's been in politics forever. Forever. He wins by a lot, 66 to 69%. But I know in Weymouth and Quincy, we have a lot of Turtle Riders. A lot of them. Anybody runs against this guy, we're going to give him a run for his money. Trust me. So that's my spiel. That's my spiel on that. All right, let me just refresh the dono button. If anybody donated, I don't want to miss anyone. Okay, so we have here, Anonymous says, go for it, buddy. Thank you, Anonymous. Brendan also donated. Thank you, Brendan, very much. Okay, so that's that. All right, if you guys have any questions, fire them away for me now because I'm fired up. You know, he does look like Mr. Belvedere. Holy shit. Holy shit. Hope you guys liked that little rundown. That was different, but you know, I spent the last few hours assembling that list. Got to take them down, man. Let's get rid of these douchebags one by one. I'm telling you, this Ted guy, this fake Dukakis, bootleg Dukakis, he's the most vulnerable. Let's get him. If you live in Danvers, sign up to run for office. All right, Turtle Club, that's coming soon. Probably in the next few weeks. So stay tuned with that. I'm being sued by the head of DCF rally for deformation. Oh, really? She's suing me? Sure she was. Sure she was. What did Gordon win by in the Burlington area? Let me see. He was up top, right? Oh, there he is. He's won by 52 to 58%, so he's somewhat vulnerable. I'm telling you. Do it, baby. Do it. Unc, why is Cully so salty with you? Cully loves me. Cully loves me. He's not salty at all. He's just pretending. Yeah, so if I didn't call in your state rep, you're stuck with them. I hate to say it. So if you had Donato and Medford, he's not going anywhere. Notice I didn't say any. There was no state reps from Springfield. There was no state reps from Boston. There was no state reps from Brookline or Cambridge or Somerville or Medford or Malden or, New Bedford or Fall River, right? Because those aren't, you're fucked if you live in those places. And you know that. If you live there, you know your place is under Democratic control forever and it's going to stay looking like shit. That's why you move to the suburbs, so you don't have to live there. Okie dokie. Anything else? What about Ipswich? I think Ipswich already has a Republican state representative. So Ipswich is good. Trust me. You're good in Ipswich. Shrewsbury has Hannah Kane. Hannah Kane is a Republican. She voted yes on this bill. So if you live in Shrewsbury, you're good. Just vote for Hannah Kane again. If you have a Republican that you're represented by, then they voted yes. Vote for them again. They've earned your vote. All right, what's up with the bishop from Brockton? Which one? You'll have to be more specific. Sox are making the Mets looks like a power men's softball team. I'm not watching it. Yeah, I mean, like I won't watch any of this shit. I'm not watching this shit. All the kneeling. Fuck that. I'm not having Black Lives Matter jammed down my throat. I'm not gonna do it. Like 3 players on the Red Sox took a knee and everyone's all mad. Oh, only 3? Fuck off. I'm not playing this game. This is bullshit. Mookie Betts signing a $380 million deal and kneeling. He's fucking impressed. Shut the fuck up, Mookie. I'm not doing this shit. First of all, baseball sucks in red. I don't think I watched a single game last year either. It's a boring fucking game. It's dying. Let it die. Let it die, baby. Are any of these police unions still going to support these cocksucking Democrats? Absolutely not. You guys have no idea how many police officers contact me now on like a daily basis. Email, Facebook, whatever. I'm hearing from all over. Like, it's very reassuring when I hear that. I don't think there's a single cop in this state that doesn't read Turtle Boy, and they are unanimous. There are no cops that are in favor of this bill. 0. And they are pissed that they were basically ignored because for years, the state police, the police unions in the state were a force to be reckoned with. Now they're just like, fucking, fuck you. We can get elected without your vote. Well, let's teach them otherwise. The latest one he wrote, he had his church open during the COVID. Oh, that's not Brockton. That's Springfield. That's Bishop Talbot Swan. And I have not heard from him. Yeah, my pet peeve right now, elite athletes scared to die. And with that, all these Patriots now, they're just quitting because of COVID. I mean, Dante Hightower, it's like you're 260 pounds, all muscle. You're not going to die of COVID, dude. What are you doing? What is happening right now? I hope it's not just us it's happening to. I mean, I can't believe these professional athletes are doing this. I can't believe that. I expect it from teachers because a lot of them are whiny babies. But professional athletes, Jesus Christ. Yeah, Sox, like Maury said, Sox had every opportunity to sign Mookie. We could have afforded him. They didn't. The white guys didn't want to pay the luxury tax. That's what it came down to. They didn't want to pay the black guy because then they'd have to pay the luxury tax. But they're woke though because they changed the goddamn street name and put up a sign. Don't you know? Fucking disgraceful. Disgraceful. All right. Anything else? Yeah, they extended the school start date 10 more days. And I mean, it's almost August, man. There's not going to be high school sports. That won't happen in the fall. And guess what? There won't be in the winter either. If you think they're just going to start in the winter, you're wrong. You're wrong. They're going to do a full year of this. And I doubt it'll be here in the spring. And I don't know what makes anybody think that this time next year will be any different. What would possibly make you think that? There won't be a vaccine. I'll tell you that much right now. Hydroxychloroquine or whatever. That might help. A lot of people say that helps. But you can't say that or else you get kicked off of these platforms. I might just get demonetized just for saying that word, even though I fucked it up. But we'll see. Yeah, smash that like button. Yeah, Kate, as was mentioned here. So Kate Peter, not to bring this up again, but should we bring it up again? Because it's too good. She had her fucking crotch fruit on the goddamn show, on the show the other day. And she was whining about me, I guess, saying that she's suing me. I shit you not. And this kid is like 11. It gets fucked up. Talking about Josh Abrams. They're swearing in front of him, stuff like that. Oh, they're fucking live now? Oh, God. Let me see if I can find it. Was this the other one? Huh. Yeah, this has to be it. Look at, there he is. See him?
Now we're live. All right.
That's the little kid right there in the corner.
Hey guys, what's up? We're live. It's Sunday.
Look at him.
I have a co-host with me today. It is my mini-me, my son. We're pulling in News New England, and we're letting a child on here.
Oh.
So we're going to watch our language, please.
Oh, yeah, sure you are.
Pat?
Wait.
Yep.
Can't we talk?
Oh.
Well, you know,
That's
how
true.
we did with Alfonso last time, we can do better.
Yeah. If anyone is.
You need a Doofy and DGen show.
Yes, we do.
I can't believe people watch
Would you
this.
guys do that? I would love that.
No, loop me in there because I'm great. I need to be included in everything.
I'll be the.
I mean, this is insane. That's just fucking child abuse. What's happened to that poor kid? That kid's been put through hell. He's been in so many different homes, foster homes, living with relatives and stuff like that. He's had to deal with the trauma of having his two little brothers taken from him. The only reason that he was not taken is because he was too old at that point and too damaged psychologically from the trauma that he had to witness as a result of his mother. Like, he's damaged. That kid, that poor kid, God bless him. He is damaged beyond repair. And he's fucking going on this show and hanging out with ratchets and talking about Josh Abrams. He's fucking 11. Like, unfucking believable. Like, the ratchet never ends. It never fucking ends. She mentioned somewhere in there, I have to bring it up, about suing me. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know who the hell these people are that even watch this goddamn show. But anyway, she was whining about me somewhere in there, claiming that she's not, she was claiming that she is not going to court, right? In Leominster. That there's not a criminal complaint filed against her. That's gaslighting. She is. There is a criminal court. We don't have a date yet because of COVID. The Holden police called me about it the other day. It is fucking happening. And she's like, actually, we have a lawsuit coming out against him. No, you don't, Kate. You don't. There's no lawsuit. You're just a liar. You're just a liar. And you got no one left. I don't know if you noticed this. Like, Masshole Mitch is gone a long time ago. Sound guy Mike Hilario's gone. Justin's gone. It's just a bunch of fucking weirdos and bots on here now. That's what you got. And your 11-year-old son. Your abused 11-year-old son. So, anyway, that's that. Anything else? Travel says, I don't like Masshole audit since they banned me. Oh yeah, weren't you with her, man? They banned you. What happened? Why would they ban you? Well, nice to see converts. I'll take any convert. Did you want a Howie VIP ticket? I mean, I don't really understand. I know Howie. I can call Howie if I want to. I can go to his place whenever. I mean, so I'll have to pass on that. But thoughts on Minihane? I mean, the guy needs help, obviously. He's seriously fucked. I mean, he's got a serious mental illness, obviously. He just got back from an awesome weekend in Sacro, has a huge following up there, and then he's just like, I was suicidal. I wanted to kill myself this weekend. I almost did it. It's fucking crazy what that guy must, his brain, the things that are going on in his brain. I feel bad for him. Obviously. I wish him the best. It's awful. What mental illness can do to a person. I mean, it's crazy that he's so open about it. Most people are not that open, but he gets paid to talk for a living. I also feel bad for Blind Mike and Steve because, who knows what the future holds for them. When, they've hitched their train to this. They're all in on this. So if it doesn't work out, which, you never know with Kirk Minihane day to day what's going to happen. I feel bad for them. But I'm going to have Steve on the show sometime. I think they should just keep doing it. Have the Kirk Minihane show without him while he's gone. When Tucker's not on, they have other people take his place, and it's not as good, but it keeps going. You can have the Kirk Minihane show without Kirk for a little bit. Keep that seat warm. Why not? I would actually listen to that. I would listen to unrestrained Steve Robinson talking about politics or whatever. It would actually be more up my alley. So I hope Steve does keep doing that. Dave Portnoy's losing people left and right. Who else did he lose? I didn't see that. Oh yeah, because Kirk. Yeah. So but he also met the president. Good for him. That's pretty cool. Fred Toucher just went to treatment yesterday. Yeah, he's going through a bad divorce, I guess. He had like a meltdown on the air too. I might be the only guy that's not having a meltdown. I've had every reason to have a meltdown, and I haven't had mine yet. I don't know if it's going to happen. I think I'm too mentally strong for that. Not that you have to be, not that you're mentally weak if you do have a breakdown, but luckily I am not ill or anything like that, so I'm good for now. Dennis Port on Cape Cod has a noticeable hood underway. Yeah. Brockton by the Sea. Back to Blue Rally. Yeah, I gotta go watch it. I haven't seen any of the Black to Blue Rally today, but I haven't checked my messages because I've been working on this list all day. But I definitely going to go read about what happened in Hingham today because I heard Black Lives Matter showed up too. All right. Anything else, guys? Any more questions before we call it a night? Glad you liked the list, Caroline. Appreciate that. I'd love to see you and Reimer duke it out. I would too. That would be a fucking awesome show. Let's be honest. Imagine me and Reimer on the show. I'd do it because I always like a fight. Because when he's on with Jerry like tickles his feet and it doesn't get too animated. Jerry's impossible to like get angry at. Whereas me and Reimer, oh man, I would be great. He wouldn't do it, but I would. That's the difference. Is there any more stories on Monica? Yes, there are. But give it time. Trust me. I'm going to do a couple Freedom of Information acts. Trust me. We got more on her. We're not done with her yet. Oh, check your donos. Yeah, thank you for the reminder, Mega Mortis. Couple more to read off here. Thank you to Caroline, who says, keep doing what you're doing. Will do. Steven says, to make up for falling asleep on Saturday, here's a double dono. Hi, Papito. Ms. Dewey should sue the fucking shit out of Zara Thompson for damages if it can be proven that her lies adversely affected her business. Yeah, it's going to be hard to prove it's a lie, though. It's one of those he said, she said things today. We'll talk about more about that on the weekend show. He says, I challenge everyone listening to give $5 at least for top-notch journalism. Yeah, if you can, you can. If you can't, you can't. No biggie. But every dollar is appreciated. I really do appreciate that. Where's Bret been? I'm going to get Bret back on. Trust me. I'm going to get Bret back on. I just can't have Bret every week because then he becomes like official. And when Bret gets official, then I get restraining orders taken out of me. That's basically what it comes down to. Like, I love Bret, but I can only go to court for him so many times. Even if it's funny. Like the Ryan Waters one, they played the fucking Bret tape in court. It was hilarious. I always get blamed for Bret, even though we make it clear. So, I'm going to have Bret on. I like to do it like once a month. Put it that way. All right. Anything else? Read Steve's dono. I just did. I just read his whole dono. I love how we call them donos now. Okay. All right. So if nobody has any more questions, I guess we'll call it an evening. Remember those names. If you live in those communities, vote. If you don't live in those communities, vote anyway. Vote early, vote often. Vote out douchebags. All right, guys. So I guess we'll see you all on the next episode of the live show Thursday night. Thanks for joining us. Peace, Turtle Riders.